All right, Christopher Luxon, thanks for joining the Herald. Good morning.
Good to be with you, Thomas.
And first interview of the new year, so great to start the new year. We're speaking on Wednesday morning. Prime Minister on Monday and actually all through the week has been pretty clear that the data that he's got suggests there is no increase in crime in the Hawke's Bay following the cyclone. In fact, some forms of crime have gone down. The Police Commissioner, Andrew Costa, has backed this up, saying that some forms of crime have actually gone down. You're saying there is a crime problem and we need to increase sentences for robberies during a state of emergency.
Yeah,
You're pretty confident.
Yeah, let's be really clear. It's a really difficult situation there. I was there on the weekend. You've got really spotty communications. Mm-hmm. You've got under-reporting of crime. You've got police, by their own admission, having made a series of arrests. And you've even got CEOs of telecommunications companies saying our generators are getting stolen and as a result our cell towers keep going down. So, I appreciate, that there is a dynamic there that actually is very dynamic in the sense of it's unsure and uncertain. So I wouldn't be too reliant on the data. All I'm saying and all we're saying as a national party is, look, it should be crystal clear. It's a pretty low-life scumbag thing to do to go take advantage of a fellow Kiwi in a time of great vulnerability, as we're seeing. So with respect to looting and burglary and those kind of offences, we should just simply say we're going to double the penalties in a time of emergency like that. Make it crystal clear to people it's unacceptable. That's a tougher consequence.
We've had some people from the Hawke's Bay saying that they feel somewhat, their fears seem somewhat minimised by the Prime Minister's comments on Monday. What they are saying is that they do feel unsafe because, there's no power. They are hearing reports of crime in their communities and they're having to set up neighbourhood watches, etc., and community checkpoints. I mean, what do you think the Prime Minister was slightly insulting, I guess, to them by being so quick to pull?
Well, look, it's just having been on the ground there, I've heard that from local people anecdotally as well. I've actually, I've seen people taking action and trying to defend their property. All I'm just saying to you very clearly is it's utterly unacceptable. It's not the Kiwi way. You don't take advantage of your fellow New Zealander in that point. Why don't we just quickly come in and actually double those sentences?
Do you think he was gaslighting those people?
I'm not going to go there. All I'd say to you is the data, I think you have to take with you have to be a little bit, it's fluid, given the situation on the ground.
And if you're Prime Minister, one would hope you don't have a state of emergency, but one would think that given 3 years in the job at minimum, you would have a state of emergency. These things tend to roll around a lot. Would you be prepared to implement that doubling the sentencing for those crimes?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
I mean, we do it immediately
like
because it's really important, irrespective of what the issue or the event is. It is absolutely, totally unacceptable in a society built on rights and responsibilities that you're taking advantage of New Zealand's most vulnerable people dealing with an incredibly tough and difficult situation. People have lost their livelihoods, lost their loved ones. People have lost, communities that have got isolated, displaced from their homes. It's pretty serious stuff. And so let's be really clear. It's part of the deal. You do not take advantage of your fellow Kiwi at any time, but let alone in a time of emergency when they're really low and down.
The government appeared to be floating yesterday the idea that you might have a cyclone levy or cyclone taxes to pay for this. It's not clear where their thinking is, but it sounds like their tax policy is fluid at the moment. What do you think of the idea of any tax?
Not supportive of that. That's right. A flood tax. It's a tax at a time when people are already doing it tough with an extreme cost of living crisis. Today we're about to see mortgage rates go up another 50 basis points. It's a 4.5% increase in less than 18 months. People have got to go find $500, $600, $700 a fortnight just to pay the mortgage rate. So it's the wrong thing to reduce take-home pay and to take money out of people's pocket through imposing taxes. The better answer is get it defined, frame it up, make sure we borrow for it, make sure it's well managed, well deployed, it gets things done. And then we've got to have a bigger conversation, which is still the problem that existed before all this disaster, is that this is a government that's mismanaged our economy, wasting huge amounts of money, building centralisation and bureaucracy.
And the cost of the cyclone, which we don't know yet, has not caused you to rethink your own tax policy of the indexation and other property taxes?
No, look, it is appropriate that we borrow, and if we ring fence and compartmentalise that task, my frustration is that $60 billion of COVID money got flushed through the system, and we were left with no hard improvement in infrastructure or a legacy around workforce and the healthcare infrastructure, any of those sorts of things. And we've had, All of a sudden over summer, Grant Robertson finds another $700 million to fund an extension of the fuel subsidy. That's all very curious and interesting, but that just says to us there's a lot of discipline and waste in the system.
We can afford this within our existing settings and can still have the tax cuts that you want.
What I want is indexing tax thresholds, because actually I want Kiwis keeping more of their own money in their pockets so they can navigate this cost of living crisis.
The other ones, the Bright Line, cancelling the Bright Line extension and the interest deductibility changes, they're still on the table?
Absolutely. As you've seen even this week from Trade Me, I think rents are up another 4%. Over the term of this government, it's been $150 a week. The officials advised the government, said those two things are going to lead to higher rates, higher rents, and that's exactly what's happened, because landlords have higher costs, they're passing on to tenants with more rent.
And 39% under review, and that's...
As I've said, I've ruled that out. There is no way that we can digest or afford that at this point in time.
Great. Christopher Luxon, thank you very much. Thanks
Appreciate
for letting me run a wee bit long.
Always good to be with you. Appreciate it so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel to stay up to date with all the latest news from the New Zealand Herald. Click the subscribe button below or check out one of the videos here, and head over to nzherald.co.nz for more details on these stories and more.